What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon, MLB DFS video. It is Friday. It is April 4th. We are back. Not a normal Friday slate because it's split basically almost in half. We've got an early games, and then we've got, your main slate at night just because of the weather and how cold it is and to start the season. But normally on Fridays, it's a 6:05 Central start time, and that's what we're used to. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Hopefully the algorithm has been good to you and you've landed here. You probably have noticed that the video is a little bit longer. Here is why. Unlike those places that they just give you these top 5 plays and that is it, that is not here. So if that's all you're looking for, we do have stuff on FantasyTeamAdvisors.com under the MLB tab. But in this video, we break it down. So we're going to look at every single game. We're going to look at all the pitchers. We're going to look at all the batters, everything. And then after that, we are going to give you the top bats that have a 10 out of 10 matchup rating or a 9 out of 10 matchup rating through 10,000 simulations. So we do 20,000 simulations a day. We're going to give you our top plays batter-wise and pitching-wise through 10,000 simulations. This is your first look at MLB. If you need a little bit more help, make sure you go check out FTA Plus. $10 for a week. You can get $30 for a month. You can get $200 for a year. But right now, next 8 people that email us, dfshelp1@gmail.com, we are giving the $199 yearly pass for $99. So if you missed out on the deal before, we have you covered there. It's 10 people. We got 8 spots left. So if you want in, get in. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to look at some ballpark factors if there's anything that make any sense. And we're going to go through everything. So as of the making of this video, I think we're pretty good with all the games. The majority of pitchers are showing up. For some reason, some are not. But we should be good. And we are going to rock and roll. So we also try to have giveaways every single one of these videos. 2 ways to win. Like the video, be a subscriber, leave a comment. You do all of that, this video gets at least 50 likes. You will have a chance at a free week of FTA Plus. That is a week of all sports. So we've got PGA, MLB, NBA, MMA, NASCAR. We've got it for you. If this video gets 100 likes, a chance at a free month, 150 likes, a free year, 200 or more likes on this video, a chance at a lifetime pass. Second way to win, somewhere in this video there'll be a keyword or key phrase. Be on the lookout for it and listen, type it in, and have a second chance at a free week. So we are going to roll right now. This is just for getting a minimum of 50 likes. So this has nothing to do with the keyword. Even if the keyword is in this comment, you will have a shot at a second way after this. So the winner, just for getting the likes on the video, there you go. Derek H0502. I am excited to win this. Been here for 2 years and never won. Well, guess what, Derek? Welcome to the club. So all you got to do is email me, dfshelp1@gmail.com. That's dfshelp, the number 1@gmail.com. If you don't have a username on the website, that's fine. Let me know what you would like. Username, password, and email. We'll get you set up. If you do, let me know your username. So no keyword was in that one. Oh, actually, the keyword was excited. So we're going to re-roll it anyway. You still have another chance to win a free week on top of what you just won. We will see who the winner is. And the winner, oh, Paul, you didn't have the keyword. Better luck next time. That's why I say put the keyword in every comment that you guys leave, but don't spam the comment. Alabama Jones. Alabama Jones is the number 1 person every single video. Every video within like 5 minutes of it going, there you go. We'll be joining this week. Well, guess what, Betsy? You can now get a free week to see if you like it. So congratulations to both of you. Please email me, dfshelp1@gmail.com. So what we're going to do is we're going to cover the first amount of games right here. So the main slate consists of Arizona at Washington at 5:45 p.m. So it's about 20 minutes earlier than what we're used to. But we do have a plethora of early games that we are going to cover right now. So that being said, we're going to jump into this. You've got the White Sox at the Tigers. You got Jack Flaherty versus Jonathan Cannon. So basically all we've got to go off of is stats from last year until probably a month or so goes by. And then Outlier is going to start integrating these stats from 2025 and we can kind of get a feel of how they're doing. So we look at Jonathan Cannon last year against Detroit. Not ideal. 12.6 ERA against them in 10 innings, 7.2 strikeouts. So did not have good stuff against them. Him this year, so he's had 1 start this year against the Angels back on Saturday, 5 innings, 3 walks, 5 Ks, no earned runs, a 140 whip. So some good numbers there, but he has not had success against this Detroit team. So that's where if you go down to batter stats here, you look at the Detroit bats against Cannon. You've got Colt Keith with a home run. You got Kerry Carpenter with a home run. Both of them have home runs. Then we dig in a little bit more. How do these batters do against right-handed pitching? So if you don't want to go with this pitcher, if you don't want to go with Jonathan Cannon, you don't want to go with Jack Flaherty, which bats should you target because they have success against right-handed pitching? So normally, Colt Keith I would like. Kerry Carpenter batted 305. Riley Green batted 280. Those would be ones I'd look at. And then if you want to go a full stack, 4 or 5 man stack, depending on which website you're on, you could always look at possibly a Zach McKinstry, which would be a cheaper option to help fill out that lineup. That's it, though. There's not like a ton. Like Trey Sweeney had a home run, I think, 2 nights ago. Not like a ton that I like in this one. So I don't know if I'll be, touching much of this game on this side of the ball. I don't think I'm going to have Jonathan Cannon. I don't know if I'm going to have much Detroit outside of what I talked about. But then if we look at Jack Flaherty, now he pitched, against the Dodgers on Friday night, 5.2 innings, only 2 earned runs, 2 walks and 5 Ks. So did pretty well against the Dodgers. They did end up losing that game in extra innings. But he had success against them, and now he gets a White Sox team that I absolutely like. So if we look at what Jack Flaherty was able to do against the White Sox, now remember, last year Jack Flaherty started with Detroit, then got traded to the Dodgers. Now he came back to Detroit. Faced him 1-0 record last year, 1.54 ERA, 11.2 innings pitched, so 2 starts, 11.57 strikeouts. So he's had success against them, and that's exactly what I would look at. If I'm playing this game, I'm not going White Sox bats. I'm really not going Jonathan Cannon. I'm going Jack Flaherty. I might go with some of the Detroit bats that we talked about, but not necessarily. There's just other pitchers on this early slate that I feel are probably in a better prime spot to use tonight. So we look at the next game. You've got the Cardinals at Boston Red Sox. You got Walker Buehler against Eric Fetty-Wap. So if we look at this game here, now the Red Sox have been putting up some runs. They've got a nice young core now. Problem is Walker Buehler, and I was all against him. If you watched last week's video, I was against Walker Buehler. I was looking at Texas bats. In that game Saturday, 4.1 innings, 4 earned runs, 3 strikeouts. That is it. 8.31 ERA going into this game. Now he's going up against a Cardinals team. You can see he did not face them. Last year, he did not pitch much. He had a 1-6 record, 5.38 ERA. Obviously, he was hurt for the Dodgers. And now he's in Boston. Now, we're not looking at weather, so we're not even worried about the weather right now. We're just going to dig into the games that make any bit of sense on this early slate. Walker Buehler against the Cardinals, I'm okay with. You can see not very many people have seen him. Arenado has 2 bombs against him. Wilson Contreras has 1. That is it. But then if we dig in and we look at the Cardinals bats against right-handed pitching, Ivan Herrera, I suggested him 2 days ago and on Wednesday, and all he did was hit 3 home runs in that game. Got a 323 batting average against right-handed pitching, 3 bombs last year. I like that. So if I were to fade Walker Buehler, which I might, then I am looking at this, and I'm looking at Ivan Herrera. I'm looking at Nolan Arenado. Mason Wynn had 409 plate appearance or at bats last year, 274 batting average. Alec Burleson, 292. Brendan Donovan, 286. Personally, I feel pretty good at a St. Louis stack. I don't think people are going to be on a St. Louis stack as much as they should in this early slate. I'm probably, and again, I'm not always right. There's times that I'm wrong. These are my thoughts and how I break down the game and how I've been doing it for 10 years. I am off of Walker Buehler. I would look at St. Louis bats. Then we've got Eric Fetty. He has already pitched once on Saturday against the Twins. 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run, only 2 strikeouts. So the strikeouts were low. That's unfortunate for us. And then in this matchup here, I don't trust it enough. I'm probably off of both pitchers, and I'm stacking both sides. Boston bats against Fetty. No real success. Boston bats against right-handed pitching. The ones I would use, Bregman I would use. Devers, I think he might be coming around. I would use him a little bit. Trevor Story, Abreu, Jarren Duran, Christian Campbell. Like I've said in other videos, this feels like one of those where I think Boston is one of those teams you stack multiple different stacks because there's just pretty much the entire lineup feels good. So a 5-man stack or a 4-man stack or a secondary stack, whatever you're going to do, I feel pretty comfortable with whichever lineup that does come out, but I would make multiple different stacks. I think Jarren Duran is probably my anchor in that one. Wilyer Abreu with 14 bombs would be another one, cheaper option there. Devers is going to be your expensive bat, probably. Bregman is there as well. Connor Wong or Narvaez, I don't know who's going to start. This is one. I'm probably off of the catchers there, but other than that, I think everyone else in this lineup is probably prime to go. Now we've got the Padres at the Cubs. It's the Windy City. Don't forget, if you've never played baseball DFS before, the wind likes to blow out of here. Unlike San Diego's home, Chicago love the hitters. It is a great hitters park here. And it'll come down to who and what the weather looks like. And if we're good to go, if the wind is blowing, that is definitely one to look at. So we got Amanaga going up against Randy Vasquez. Now, last year, Vasquez did face the Cubs one time, 4.1 innings, had a bunch of strikeouts. I don't trust him. The problem is Vasquez last year had a 4.87 ERA, was only averaging 5.69 strikeouts per game. So he had just a really good game against the Cubs. The way I would look at it, if I'm taking a pitcher here, it's probably Amanaga, not Vasquez. And then you got Amanaga, who had success in one inning last year, 10 strikeouts in that game against San Diego. In this ballpark, scares me a little bit, but at tournaments, I do not mind Amanaga. Now, Amanaga has pitched twice this year. He was in the Tokyo series, the 18th, and then he pitched on Saturday, the 29th. Last week against Arizona, 7 innings pitched, 2 walks, 4 Ks. Pretty good numbers there. Comes in with an 0-1 record, 0.82 ERA. Only 6 strikeouts, but a 0.82 whip as well. So if I am taking one, I'm taking Amanaga. Because 3 videos ago, if you actually look, Cubs or San Diego bats against Amanaga, no success, no home runs. And you can see this, they do not hit lefties as well as you would think. Considering they've got Tatis, they've got Iglesias, who bat 402. Him and Lockridge, the only ones that have green numbers. Luis Ariz is kind of starting off slow. You've got like Jackson Merrill, who batted 240. Machado only batted 256 last year. Tatis only batted 224. For whatever reason, they just do not hit lefties as well as righties. In that case, Amanaga would make a good starting pitcher there. Cubs bats against Randy Vasquez, no real success. Against right-handed pitching, you can see that. John Birdie, 282 batting average, only 39 plate appearances, so not a ton. Justin Turner had 261 batting average. He does hit righties better, or he did last year. I would use Kyle Tucker. I love Kyle Tucker in this stadium. Wouldn't be surprised if he goes for at least 1 home run in this one. Suzuki, 17 bombs last year, 286 batting average. Ian Happ, 244 batting average, 18 bombs as well. Dansby Swanson's another one I'd look at. So I am fading Vasquez. I'll have Amanaga in tournaments. I will have the Cubs as a stack. We got the Blue Jays at the Mets next. Let's check it out. So we got, is it Trevor Meagle? Tyler Meagle. Trevor is on Milwaukee. So Tyler Meagle versus Kevin Gausman. So we look at this. Gausman did not face the Mets last year, which is kind of surprising, considering I'm actually surprised he did not face them. This year, coming in with an 1-0 record, 3 ERA, had a pretty good game against Baltimore to start the season. 2 earned runs, 4 strikeouts in 6 innings. Now he gets a matchup here. It's a little bit harder on paper than Baltimore. And then in their career, the Mets bats against Kevin Gausman, like Marte has a home run. Juan Soto's batting .533 with a home run. I took Juan Soto to hit a home run. Their last game, he didn't do it, so that means he will hit one tonight. So again, Juan Soto, home run. Starling Marte is going to be your DH, so it really just depends. Then we break it down. The Mets bats against right-handed pitching. They do kind of half and half. Soto, obviously last year, 293 batting average, 28 bombs. Jesse Winker would be a cheaper option in that lineup if you're trying to stack. Pete Alonso had a couple of good games in a row. Lindor, we're looking at too. Mark Vientos, like I feel pretty comfortable with that. I would go with those bats in that one. You want a couple of cheap bats that probably will go under on Brett Beatty or even Tyrone Taylor if you're trying to fill out that 5-man stack there. Then you got Toronto bats against Tyler Meagle. Santander is the only one with a home run. Against right-handed pitching, though, you can see everyone in this lineup hits right-handed pitching better than they do left-handed pitching. Vladdy batted 327 last year. You could look at him. I mean, Jimenez has been on fire. If he's not hitting home runs or getting on base, he's getting on base and stealing. I would look at that. I would look at Santander. Davis Schneider could be a cheap infield option. I don't know if he'll start. That is another one I'd look at. So in this one, I might look maybe Kevin Gossman for tournaments. I'm probably off of Meagle, and I would look at Toronto bats as well. George Springer's another one. I really wish George Springer was, bat and leadoff again. If he was, with guaranteed 4 at-bats, and I feel pretty comfortable with that. Gets on base, can steal bases, gets some points for getting runs in and scoring runs, but that's what we've got there. So that's the breakdown of the Toronto at the Mets game. Now we've got the Athletics at the Colorado Rockies. Now it's Colorado, so the bats and the bats are priced up because if you've never played DFS for MLB, the ball flies out of here. So we look at that. You've got Osvaldo Bido, and then Colorado currently doesn't show a pitcher, which it does here. It's Ryan Feltner. Now, if we look at Ryan Feltner, this is just kind of one where I don't know why it's not showing up. So Ryan pitched on Friday against Tampa Bay, on Sunday, 5 innings, 2 earned runs, 5 strikeouts, 3.60 ERA, 1 WHIP. Like, that's some good numbers. You will get him cheap because it's in Colorado. But again, it's in Colorado, and the Athletics are a pretty damn good hitting team. I want to take some of these athletic bats in Colorado. I would look at Langoliers. I would look at Britt Rooker, 100%. Batted 293 last year with 39 bombs. I would look at a cheap option would be Miguel Andujar. A couple other ones I would look at, probably looking at Tyler Soderstrom and maybe Lawrence Butler, because he could get on and steal some bases as well. So Feltner for tournaments, I am okay with it. You're going to get a discount because it's in Coors, but it is in Coors, so be very careful about that. Then Colorado bats against Bido, 7 at-bats total, so not much. Against right-handed pitching, though, it's kind of mixed. Ones I would look at in Colorado, Nick Martini. I would look at Ezekiel Tovar. I would look at Britton Doyle, Mickey Moniak, Ryan McMahon a little bit, and Michael Togliai. I don't mind. That's kind of where it's at. So usually I like to just avoid this. It's going to go very over-owned. The bats in Colorado just seem like the ownership on those are always skyrocketed, which makes sense. But yeah, I would look away from that. I would look at the bats. I kind of like the athletic bats a little bit, but I do like Colorado bats as well. And then this is just a weird start time to me. 3:12 Central. Like, what's the why? Why not 3:15? Why not 3:10? Like, I don't understand. I don't understand the start here. It is Max Fried versus Mitch Keller. Now, Fried last year, 1.5 innings or 1.5 earned run average against them. He had success. The strikeouts were low. Now, Max Fried did not have the best outing on Saturday when the Yankees did put up 20 runs. He still gave up, I think, 5. How many did he give up? 6 runs. He gave up 6 runs. Only 2 of them were earned because the Yankees had 5 errors. I did forget about that. So we look at that. Pittsburgh, he's had success in the past against them. I think he shows better stuff than what he saw in that game. I think maybe when you're up that big, maybe it gets in your mind that you can relax a little bit, and then your team letting you down with the defense doesn't help. So you've got Max Fried or Mitch Keller. Now, Mitch Keller, Goldie has a home run against him. Obviously seen him when he was with the Cardinals. Against right-handed pitching, the Yankees bats I would use Austin Wells. I would use Goldie. I would Cody Bellinger. Obviously Aaron Judge, Jazz, Ben Rice. Pretty much the only one I'm not using again in this one's like a Pablo Reyes or Oswaldo Peraza, or Oswald Peraza or Oswaldo Cabrera. I'm probably not using them. I would use everybody else. So Jason Dominguez as well. So this is another one that I feel like now they're on the road against a little bit better, easier team to play. Mitch Keller, not so much success against them. Did not face them last year though, but he did have a 4.25 ERA. So the Yankees did strike out 16 times on Wednesday night. Not ideal, but I think that they probably are in a good spot here. If I were to use in this game, I would use the Yankees bats, and I would use a Max Fried over Mitch Keller or the Pirates bats. Then we got the Mariners at the Giants. Now, the Mariners love to strike out. They love to strike out. I think they're the top team to strike out last year. They are facing Justin Verlander. So again, he's 45 years old. I understand that. Last year against Seattle, 1.29 earned runs, 7 innings, 11 strikeouts. So he's had success against them. Verlander this year played pitched Saturday in Cincinnati. So again, not the best ballpark for him. Went 5 innings, 5 Ks, 1 home run, 2 earned runs. Obviously, you would like to get 6, 7 innings out of your starter. He is in a good matchup here. Would not be surprised if he gets 7+ strikeouts in this game. I do like that. But again, remember, he is old. Batters who've had success against him, like Polanco, 1 for 12. That 1 hit is a home run. J-Rod, 1 for 22 or 2 for 22. That 1 hit is a home run as well. Against right-handed pitching, though, Victor Robles last year, 343. J-Rod, 275 batting average. So if you want to go against the grain, do not go with Verlander and you want to go with the Mariners bats, I would use Cal Raleigh. I would use J-Rod. I would use Robles. I don't know if he's going to be in there, though. That's something to look at. Tournament pick, Rowdy Tellez. I think he should go under-owned as well. Then San Francisco bats going up against Bryce Miller. Looking at him, did not face them last year. No one's really faced him. Against right-handed pitching, they don't do as well. Now, that being said, Bryce Miller making his second start of the year. Didn't have an ideal start. Against the Athletics, 5.2 innings, 3 earned runs, 4 strikeouts, 2 walks, 1 home run. Comes in with an 0-1 record, 4.76 ERA. So if you are looking at this, now this is a pitcher's park, a massive ballpark. And you can see that these San Francisco bats don't hit righties as well as lefties. So if we were to take any of them, Willie Adames makes a ton of sense. Matt Chapman makes sense. Jung-Ho Lee makes sense. Yastrzemski and Elliot Ramos all make sense. If you want to go against the grain, San Francisco is a better team than the Athletics. And the Athletics had Bryce Miller's number, a.k.a. Morgan Wallen's number last week. I could see you going with those San Francisco bats. So tournament-wise, Verlander for tournament pitcher, sure. I think both pitchers are probably only tournament, not in cash. And I do not mind a stack on either side. Dodgers at the Phillies is the next game. The final game of the early window here. We've got the Jesus Lizard versus Yamamoto. Yamamoto has not faced them before, did not face them last year. So, nothing to go off of there. But his one start, or he's actually had 2 starts, I guess. Started in Japan, and then his last start against Detroit last week, 5 innings, 10 strikeouts in that game against Detroit. Now, Philly's a harder hitting team than Detroit. We know that. So if we look at that, and we look at Philly bats against Yamamoto, they've never seen him before. Advantage pitcher, probably. We look at Philly bats against righties. You can see they do hit lefties better. Bryson Stott, 251 batting average, 10 bombs. Hit righties better last year. Marsh hit with 15 bombs. And then you see like Bryce Harper had 21 bombs. Schwarber had 26 bombs. Just homered yesterday. Pretty much the game-winning home run. Not a walk-off, but I think it was a 3-run shot. Yamamoto, I think, is going to be highly owned. He's going to be very high-priced if you want to go against the grain. I don't mind a unconventional Philly stack there. I do like Yamamoto, though. And then we look at the Jesus Lizard. No one's really had success. No one's hit a home run, but they hit lefties really well. If I were to stack the Dodgers, because the Dodgers, again, they're going to go 162-0. Book it. Will Smith, 258 batting average last year. Mookie Betts, 308 batting average last year. Tommy Edman, 412 batting average. Again, 34 plate appearances. Andy Pott has 357. I don't really like him. Conforto, I'm okay with. We love to take Teoscar Hernandez against lefties. 290 batting average last year, 11 bombs. Ohtani hits righties better, but again, if they chase the Jesus Lizard out of the game early, all of these bats make sense. So again, a Dodger stack, that shouldn't be breaking news. That's pretty much what we're going to see pretty much all year is a Dodger stack. So now we've hit the main slate here. Arizona versus Washington. You got Jake Irvin versus Brandon Pfaadt. So we break this game down. You got Jake Irvin last year against Arizona, has faced them once, 720 year earned run average against them. Then you've got Arizona here. Brandon Pfaadt, 0-1 record, but did have only 4.27 earned runs in that game, went 6.1 in that game. So if we go with what we've got from Pfaadt here against Washington, so he did pace the Cubs on Saturday, 3 runs, 6 hits, 1 walk, struck out 5. Didn't do too bad, 4.50 ERA. Splits wise, has not faced Washington. Okay, so now DraftKings is showing just this year's stats. So that's good to know. So they're showing just this year's stats. Not the best outing, but not the worst. Now he's on the road, so we don't really have road and home splits. But again, once we get about a month's worth of data, all of that will make a lot more sense. So if you weren't going to go with Pfaadt and you wanted to go with Washington bats, no one's had a home run against him. But against right-handed pitching, like they do very well. So a Washington stack makes a lot of sense here. So if you're looking at like a Riley Adams or a Luis Garcia, Paul DeYoung had 19 bombs. Nate Lowe had 13 bombs with Texas. Like Josh Bell is a switch hitter. I don't mind those guys. I don't mind that stack there. There's always James Wood you could put in there. CJ Abrams you could also put in there. Dylan Cruz, depending on the lineup you want to go with. Arizona bats against Jake Irvin. Ketel Marte does have a home run. Does try to steal bases as well. It just depends. Corbin Carroll, I like him. I like his speed on the bases. I would look at him. I would look at Josh Naylor had 25 bombs last year. More of a boomer bust type batter though. So tournament maybe. Jake McCarthy, he gets on base and steals. Pavin Smith is another one that I'd look at as well. So pitching wise, there's other pitching on the slate. I'm probably off of this game pitching wise and going with the bats more so. Miami at Atlanta. You got Schwellenbach versus Max Meyer. Schwellenbach, game log. So last week, 6 innings against San Diego, 1 walk, 4 Ks, lost 1-0. He had no support. What you're looking for is about 2 to 2.5 times value. So 9,800 times 2. So 20 plus 20, obviously 25 fantasy points would make a ton of sense. Max Meyer, on the other hand, game log wise, 5.2 innings, 1 earned run, 1 hit or 1 home run, 7 Ks, 21.2. He's now 7,400. Atlanta has not started off very well. Lost first 7 games of the year. That's not an ideal situation for him, even though on paper they're a way better team. I could see this be a low-scoring game as well. I don't know if I'm really going to go bats in this one. I'm looking at just kind of the pitching, to be honest with you. I could be wrong, but I like both of these pitchers. I think both are fantastic tournament options. Schwellenbach is very expensive, though. I don't know if I like Schwellenbach as enough. But again, after we go through everything, we're still going to have all the batters information for you. So we've touched on the pitchers. Maybe you want to look at bats yourself after 20,000 simulation. So we'll do the 10,000 at the end of this, and we'll see if any of these bats make sense. But at the moment on paper, no. I'd just go with the pitching in this one. Baltimore at Kansas City scares me a little bit because of the weather. Seth Lugo versus Dean Kramer. Lugo comes in, 5 innings, 3 earned runs, 4 strikeouts against Cleveland. Now going up against a Baltimore team that is a very good hitting team. I'm probably off of him because of his price being, well, he's only 7,600, but still Baltimore is a team that I don't know if I trust. Lugo last year, 6.75 ERA. He didn't have success against them. We do have a home run for Westberg. So yeah, I'm probably looking at Baltimore as a stack. I'm probably looking at Ryan O'Hearn, Jordan Westberg. Cedric Mullins has been absolutely on fire lately. Home runs or stealing bases, you're going to get it from him. Maybe Tyler O'Neill. I would look at him as well. Again, though, I am scared about this weather, so let's continue to monitor throughout the day. Then you have Dean Kramer. Faced Kansas City once last year, 4.91 earned runs per 9, 11 innings pitched, 6. His strikeouts were low. You look at Kansas City against him. Salvador Perez has a home run. India has a home run. Pasquantino has a home run. Bobby Witt Jr. has a home run. Those are all good options there. And then you look at against right-handed. Yeah, I mean, last year, Bobby Witt Jr. hit 336 in 503 at-bats against right-handed pitching. I would look at him. MJ Melendez is another one I'd look at. Michael Garcia is yet another batter that I would look at in this game. So I am probably fading both pitchers here. and going bats on both sides. But again, that's the weather. Let's monitor the weather as well. Tampa Bay at Texas. Texas, when it's hot, the ball flies out of there. It is still early, though. So we do have Tyler Mahle versus Zach Littell. Zach Littell against Texas. Game log-wise, last week against Colorado, 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 7 Ks, 23.1 fantasy points. He has now gone up $1,000. Mahle, game log-wise, 1.2 innings, 2 hits allowed, 1 earned run. Yeah, bases loaded, walks at Devers in the second. He only did 61 pitches. Yeah, I mean, not ideal. And I told you not to use him last week, and we didn't. I hope you didn't. But 1.2 innings, the walks were ridiculous. A lot of pitches for not even getting out of the second inning. So if I were to look at that, I'm probably not using either of the pitcher. Littell last year, 4 innings against Texas, 15. He just got absolutely lit up. Did have strikeouts, but got absolutely lit up in that game. And then Mahle not used at all. So yeah, I'm not using either pitcher. Batters against him, Higashioka has a home run, Seager has a home run, Taveras has a home run. Against right-handed pitching, they smash. So if I'm looking at Texas bats here, Peterson, Berger, Seager, Taveras, Wyatt Langford, those would be the bats that I'd look at. Obviously, Simeon is there. Adolis Garcia is there as well. So Texas might be one of those teams that you stack different. Tampa Bay's not seen much of him. Overall, like Brandon Lau, okay. Chris Morel. Like, I don't like Tyler Mahle as a pitcher, but none of these Texas bats, or Tampa Bay bats, jump out to me yet. Maybe they will after simulations. But if in this game, I'm probably all in on a Texas stack. And then I'll kind of wait to see what the Vegas numbers look like, what the simulations look like, to see if any of these Tampa Bay bats jump out. As of right now, they just don't. And I don't want to tell you to go with certain bats when I don't feel comfortable with that. Cincy at Milwaukee is next. You got Nick Martinez versus Tyler Alexander. Martinez, last week, or his first start of the year, San Francisco, 6 innings pitched, 4 earned runs, 5 Ks, had 12.5 fantasy points. Not enough. Now he's going up against a Milwaukee team that I don't love this matchup here for him. Probably off of this. There's other pitchers on the main slate we can look at. So Martinez did have success against them last year. But it is early in the season. Milwaukee's offense has been kind of up and down, actually. And then against him, like Wilson Contreras has a home run, or William Contreras has a home run, and that's it. They don't hit as well, but I mean, if you were to go with a stack here, Contreras makes sense, Christian Yelich makes sense, Bryce Terang, Jackson Churio. Cheap option would be Vinny Capra if he even starts. Be very cheap option. How much is Capra? $2,800. I mean, he would be cheap. He would be cheap if you were to build a stack around him. Tyler Alexander, though, here's my problem. He is an opener. But, I mean, it's likely Alexander because maybe, it's going to be an open. It's wild. We're already at the beginning of the season, and we already have openers to literally their second week in the game. So looking at that, I'm not going that. I'm probably off of both bats, or both pitchers in this one, and just straight bats. Cincy bats, I would use Ellie De La Cruz, obviously. I would use Gavin Lux. I would use a little bit of Spencer Steer if he's in there. I'm not sure. I think you can use him at first and third base. So pick one of those, probably. McLean, maybe a little bit. It just depends. I'm not in love with this game here, but I'm okay with it. Pitching wise, I'm not using it at all. At all. And then the final game, we've got Cleveland at the Angels. You got Soriano versus Gavin Williams. Soriano last week, I liked because the White Sox are bad. 7 innings in that game, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks. 27.4 fantasy points. Obviously, never would project that out there. $7,100 is his salary. I would use Soriano for tournaments. I wouldn't use him for cash. And then Gavin Williams, on the other hand, game logs against Kansas City, 5 innings, 2 earned runs, 2 strikeouts. So the strikeouts were low for it. So any success in the past against him. Gavin Williams did not face the Angels last year. And against the Angels, yeah, I mean, Nicky Lopez is the only one who's had at-bats against him. And then Soriano last year, 1-1 record against them, 3 ERA, 8.25 strikeouts per 9 in 12 innings. So 2 starts. Great numbers. Barely walked anyone and had the strikeouts that he needed. More strikeouts against them than he did strikeouts per 9 on the average. Cleveland bats against him, though, like J-Ram has a home run. That's it. So if we were to look at Cleveland bats against right-handed pitching last year, Manzardo would be a very cheap option today. Nolan Jones would be a cheaper option. Obviously, Stephen Kwan, J-Ram you would look at. You could look at Brian Rocchio. You could look at Lane Thomas as well. Soriano for tournaments, I'm okay with, though. But if you were to go Cleveland bats, those would be the ones I'd go with. And then Angels, again, like I said, Nicky Williams or Lopez is the only one who've seen him. I mean, I want to take Mike Trout until he gets hurt. I would take him. I would look at Nolan Schanuel. I would look at Yoan Moncada. Maybe, and Logan O'Hoppe. I do like Logan O'Hoppe big time for a catcher today. 264 batting average last year with 16 bombs against righties. This is in LA as well. Whether or not the Cleveland going over and the time difference, if that's a thing, we'll find out. But those are the breakdowns of all of the pitchers and all of the batters that we currently have for this day. So that being said, ballpark factors, there's no real ballpark factors with weather right now. Wind is blowing in Coors, so you'd be paying up big time there. Wind's blowing in a ton of places. I'll just put it that way. But now we're going to do all the batters through 10,000 simulations and the pitchers through 10,000 simulations that have a 10 out of 10 or not a 9 out of 10. So we can get about 30 batters or so in here. So this is what we're going to do. The keyword of the day, just win, baby. Key phrase is just win, baby. So looking at all of the batters that have a 10 out of 10 matchup rating, number 1 is Aaron Judge versus Mitch Keller. Number 2 is Brent Rooker. 3 is Ketel Marte. 4 is Gunnar Henderson. 5, Marcell Ozuna. 6, Mookie Betts. 7, Jose Ramirez. 8, Eugenio Suarez. 9, Juan Soto. 10, Kyle Tucker. 11, Kyber Ruiz. 12, Ian Happ. And 13, Seiya Suzuki. All of those have a 10 out of 10. Now the rest have a 9 out of 10 matchup rating. Shohei Ohtani against Luzardo is 14. 15, Austin Riley. 16, JJ Bleday. 17, Paul Goldschmidt. 18, Bobby Witt Jr. 19, Alex Bregman. 20, Corey Seager. 21, Zach McKinstry. 22, Pavin Smith. 23, Stephen Kwan. 24, Riley Green. 25, Kerry Carpenter. 26, Luis Garcia Jr. 27, Gabriel Moreno. 28, Benintendi. 29, Vladdy. 30, Dansby Swanson. 31, Geraldo Perdomo. 32, Alejandro Kirk. 33, Michael Busch. 34, Jesse Winker. 35, Luis Arraez. And 36, Miguel Amaya versus Randy Vasquez. So there you go. Those are the top 36 bats according to 10,000 simulations. Now, some of these guys probably won't start today, and that'll change up the value and stuff like that. So that's why I tell you, go to the website. Go to the website about an hour before first pitch for the main slate. Now, we look at pitchers in this one. Kind of just looking at pitchers in like top 10 right now for the slate. I'm looking at Spencer Schwellenbach, Yamamoto. 3 is Bryce Miller. 4 is Kevin Gossman. 5 is Max Fried. 6 is Shota Amanaga. 7 is Mitch Keller because the Yankees do like to strike out a lot. 8 is Nick Martinez. 9, Gavin Williams. And number 10, Jose Soriano right now. Now, again, those can change. These are through 10,000 simulations. We'll do the other 10,000 usually in the afternoon of the day of the slate. And all of that is updated under the MLB tab from Vegas odds all the way down to MLB prop bets. So get those in there. Let's have a fantastic Friday. Let me know other things you guys would like to see in these videos. Make sure you check out the article linked here and check out the free Discord down below as well. That's what I've got today. Good luck. And as always, bring home some bacon. Peace.